Stu and Dave Do America presents The Incorrect Way to Eat a Hot Dog. Oh, no. This is man doing? Do you start?
We had to cut. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you start doing the... Does anyone ever lick a hot dog? Is that how you start? I don't understand what was happening there.
I'm not sure. I think we had to stop the video before he started working the balls. I think I'm going to give that to my wife as a tutorial video.
Oh, it was a little too much biting. You might
well, towards the end, he certainly satisfied it at first, and then he took a bite.
Was that intentional, or was he doing that as a stunt for his friend to make the video, or was that a real life out in the wild type of moment?
I think that was an out in the wild type of moment. If you look at that guy, he does not look like somebody who wants to be on camera licking a hot dog like that.
Or on national television. Probably doesn't want that as well. But
no, probably not.
This is your life. Get used to it. Okay, another situation, kind of the same sort of thing. Didn't want to be on camera. Didn't want to be talked about on national television in this particular context. Let's do Tony Romo's Booze Cruise. Welcome to Stu and Dave Do America. I'm Stu Burguiere along with Dave Landau.
Ahoy, and we meet again.
Very, very true. We had, how was Syracuse this weekend, Dave? Had a last minute show up there?
It was good. I ended up having quite a few fans coming out. Friday night, a very drunk man was thrown out at the end. That was fun. But other than that, it was good.
It's always good to hear. You're going all over the country. Yeah. Huge list of dates up on the website, davelandau.com. Want to go through some of them here, Dave?
Yes. If you're around this weekend, Albuquerque, New Mexico at Hyenas, August 20th, Cleveland, Ohio, Hilarities, and new dates, including September 2 through 5, Key West, Florida, at Comedy Key West, and September 17 and 18, I will be at the Improv in Denver, Colorado.
Very cool. Lots of dates. Get all your tickets at davelandau.com. We also have a new episode of Predictable with Stu today. Go to predictableshow.com. Tomorrow is the big primary, 5 different states, including Michigan, Dave, your home state. We will be talking about that in depth and finding prediction markets for you to make some profit off of this and understand the elections a little bit better. We just launched our premium tier over there as well. Did a cool live chat. We're going to be releasing all of my picks, every single position I have in my portfolio coming out on Friday. If you want access to that, it's part of our premium tier. So check that out, predictableshow.com. And I will also advise you to check out BlazeTV.com. Lots of new things coming. I've been getting some little whispers of some really cool new stuff that's right around the corner here at Blaze TV. Get involved, become a member, blazetv.com/Stu and Dave. And one of the great things we do here at Blaze TV is to bring you the biggest experts in any given field. You know, we try to make sure that we're getting the people who know these issues better than anyone. And that's why when we're talking about DUIs, we have Dave Landau here, potentially
Correct.
America's greatest expert on receiving a DUI. Welcome, Dave. I know people want to hear your commentary on this.
Yes, thank you. It's good to be back on the program. I am an expert in DUIs, having received 4 myself and 4,000 that I was not caught for. Not that I'm bragging, but those are gold medal numbers. Mm-hmm, so if DUI, drinking and driving, was an Olympic sport or even a professional sport, I would be probably a billionaire.
Yeah, definitely. You'd have a plaque somewhere
yes.
in the Hall of Fame. People would know your name. Your collector, your sports cards would be very, very valuable when signed. This is all part of the Dave Landau experience.
Yes.
Can you give people...
Mothers Against Drunk Driving would retire my jersey.
Can you give us... Again, we joke because it's this world and we have to. This is obviously a very serious thing, as I know you've talked about, Dave, many, many times. Can you give people kind of a reminder of, maybe one of these incidents? How did this work for you when you got pulled over for a DUI?
Well, we can do a bit of a play-by-play here, and I can show you things that Tony Romo may have done wrong.
Okay.
But yeah, there's ways that you do it and ways that you don't. And I have actually gotten out of them just by doing certain things that you learn over time, just being a little more polite. Just certain things that can help work out for you. For me, though, I've been 17 years sober as of July 7th. So I assure you, I know a little bit about it, and I just not doing it.
Yeah, but definitely what he would advise just not doing it. Let me get people caught up on the story if they didn't know. CBS NFL analyst Tony Romo arrested on suspicion of OWI, which seems to be the new term they use. What is it? Operating while
Operating while impaired. It looks more like owl on when an employer looks at it. So you get a pretty good chance of maybe keeping your job if they're not familiar with the OWI term.
Yeah, that's again, I don't know why they come up with these new terms for it. Owl, though, that's a good say. No, it was just an owl. Just hang with an owl. It's no big deal. His arrest went from bad to worse, according to this Yahoo Sports article, basically because they said not visible in the release footage from the police body cam, which we're going to go through here in a second. It was revealed that during the impounding of Romo's black Jeep, the 46-year-old had an open container of booze on the passenger door. And that put him in a potential spot for a $267 fine, which is not exactly material to Tony Romo, but that's a whole other story. He's been placed on leave by CBS Sports following the arrest. And, I would love to get your take on this, Dave, but it feels to me that they didn't like the contract they signed him to, which was, I want to say, 10 years, $180 million. And I don't know if they're using this as an excuse to get out of the contract or how seriously they take this sort of stuff, because it does strike me as we see a lot of situations where people in the media do things that are much worse and much more serious than even what he's being accused of, and they seem to hang around forever. Tony Romo being suspended here is an interesting turn of this event.
Yeah, I think it is something that they're using to try to get him out of his contract. He was at a WSJ event, a Wall Street Journal event, and I feel that you should at least get 0.9 taken off of your blood alcohol content if you're stopped after that event, because you do have to give him credit. He had to tolerate it. He was leaving a golf course, which is almost cheating now if you pull someone over if they're leaving a golf course, as we've learned from Tiger Woods, and driving a Jeep, which if you've learned anything from me, Bruce Springsteen, or him, it's very easy to get a DUI in a Jeep for some reason. Also, he had an open container in Wisconsin, which I think is sort of like driving with cheese. It should be expected. I don't know why it would be that big of a deal in that particular state. That's like getting stopped in Colorado and getting in trouble for pot. Right. It's not that big of a deal.
It's part of the process. And, it's funny because we've come a long way with DUIs and drinking while intoxicated. I mean, look at Lyndon Johnson's autobiography. Like, he's talking about he's just driving around all the time, just pounding beers in his car. This is a kind of normal part of American life for a long time, to the extent that when they started making it illegal, there's videos, and they're great to watch on the internet of people like, I just can't believe the government's coming down on us again, taking away our freedoms. I just want to have a beer on the way home from work. And they're saying this to news cameras. We've come a long way on this one, Dave.
Oh, there's ones where there's literally a child sitting in a guy's lap, and I think it's in West Virginia, and he's drinking a beer, going like, we only got a week left where we can do this. And yeah, it's a very, very different time. From even in the 80s, where some of the more luxurious cars that were made actually had bars in the center console.
Wow.
Especially in the back seat. Yeah, they just came with glasses and, a place to put liquor. So it's definitely it's a new age. People are very against this. And personally, I think, look, you shouldn't drink and drive. It kills people. You got to be careful. But I think we are also way, way too ridiculous with it.
That's interesting. Let's watch some of the video.
Like 2 drinks is not a lot, in my opinion, to get a DUI.
Yeah.
I think, but there's a lot of arguments for it. I realize Oh, there I go. I'm gone now.
You're back now, Dave. Go ahead. We're going to have to make some edits to this puppy today. That's okay.
I don't know why it's doing that. Sorry.
That's okay. Because I mean, they have lowered these limits, right, to 0.08 in a lot of places. It does seem like, they're just basically saying, look, this is a bright line. Kind of like if they want you to go 75 miles an hour, they're setting the speed limit at 55 because they don't want you to go 80, right? It seems like that's what they're doing here with these DUI things, but they do catch people at, 0.08, or like they've had really one or two drinks. Maybe they didn't have enough to eat, but they still, I guess, seem fine to themselves and wind up getting in trouble. I mean, it can be really devastating to your life, as you're seeing here with the Romo thing.
Right. And I mean, with Uber and the amount of money he has and Lyft, there's no reason he should really be getting behind a wheel anyway. And that's, I think, goes for most people. I think 0.1 to 0.08 is exactly what you just said. But yes, I would have to agree. That's he should just call it an Uber. That's all it comes down to. You have money. Just do it.
Okay, let's get the telestrator out here, Dave, and watch the Tony Romo DUI video, and you as the DUI expert on the program here can talk us through what he did right and what he did wrong in this video. This is the initial stop of Tony Romo. If you haven't seen this video, we'll go through it for you. He's pulled over on the side of the road in his Jeep.
Reason for my stop today is the unsafe passing on the right, the lane deviation.
Say it louder, I'm sorry.
Unsafe passing on the right, cutting across the gore. Obviously, the gore?
Yes.
It's the marked area.
Gotcha.
Where are you coming from?
Well, I live in Dallas, so I came in to visit Grandma and Grandpa, so we're here. I'm going to meet them, but I got the gore.
You got the what?
The gore, you said?
Yeah.
That's what it is when you cross it?
Yep.
Yes. I got what you're saying.
And you were coming from Grandma and Grandpa? What did you say? It's really hard to hear you, dude.
I can't hear you either. I'm sorry.
I know. We got to basically yell at each other,
I
right?
feel like I'm yelling at you.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Where are you coming from?
The golf course. And I'm going to meet Grandma and Grandpa.
Uh-oh. Came from a golf course, Dave.
He came from a golf course, kind of changed his story a little bit from saying he was going to his grandma and grandpa's. And the thing you don't want to do when you have alcohol on your breath is lean out of the car window and try to speak louder to the police officer. That's really something you're going to want to avoid. That's going to be his first mistake. Actually, the first two is leaning closer to the cop and then changing his story.
Yeah, and he gets into this a little bit later on, but it seemed to me that he was trying to say he was on his way to his grandma and grandpa, who I think were with the plane, right? They were at the plane and maybe going home they were like waiting for him at the airport. And I don't know. Seems to be what he was trying to say, but didn't exactly. Again, you don't necessarily communicate so well when you're in these moments. As I remember from doing multiple power hours on this network, and you were part of one, Dave, not drinking, of course, but there to make fun of us as we were drinking. And it gets very difficult to communicate as the sixth and seventh beer go down your throat.
It certainly does. And that is part of the problem why you should just say, I'm coming from the golf course, I'm going home, or I'm going to a relative's. But he did say grandma and grandpa's, which doesn't look great when you're his age. It just makes you appear drunker. And then saying coming from the golf course to answer the question at different time. Yeah, it's not good. It's the first two mistakes he made.
I will say though, seemingly polite, and that was one of your keys, your DUI keys.
Yes, it's very important to be polite. It's not going to help you to reach for the gun and start screaming. I've always said that.
It's a very good point. Here is Tony Romo being asked how many drinks he had.
How many drinks have you had?
0.
You're coming from a golf course?
I played in a golf tournament in Wisconsin State Amateur.
Okay.
So it's like a USGA event.
Okay. All right. I'm going to run you through some fields.
What's that mean?
Field sobriety tests. Are you willing to take any field sobriety tests?
Call my lawyer and then I'm going to try to fill if that's okay.
I'm sorry?
Do you want me to take me through field sobriety
Yes,
test
you're
right now?
denying to step out of the vehicle pending field?
I'm just going to call my lawyer.
Okay, step out of the vehicle.
I'm going to call him.
No, step out of the vehicle.
I'm not allowed to.
Step out of the vehicle.
So you're going to take me through
Field sobriety test.
I'm still allowed to call my lawyer, right?
You're not.
I'm not allowed
Nope,
to.
It's a fascinating moment. First of all, also occurring in a wind tunnel. But if you hear that, he was asked basically, he was trying to say, I want to call my lawyer. And she answers in a very interesting way to that.
Well, here's where I got to throw the flag. When she asked, how many drinks have you had? He said 0. Now, cops are a lot like women. They don't like when you lie to them. And now when that cop is a woman, you're going to double up on that dislike of lying. So if you say 2 beers, they know you're lying. If you say 0, they really know you're lying. So when you stop, you should say, I don't know, 18 holes. I think I had 4. I was pacing myself, though. Maybe 1 shot. Something like that. So it seems like you're being at least honest with the police officer. And then when they ask you to get out of the car, you don't want to say, I'm going to call my lawyer, because you're pretty much admitting guilt. And I'm not quite sure you have that right in that moment anyway.
Yeah, that was an interesting part of it. So that's fascinating. I would think 4 in a shot, I would be admitting too much, right? Like I think, again, hopefully, by the way, I mean, just again, to put this, we're putting this in the context of making fun of this video and talking about it. Again, you should not have 4 beers and a shot and then go driving. Not a good idea.
Certainly not.
So
but
we're not.
If you're saying over 18 holes, I was there for 4 hours, hot sun. I had like 3 in a shot, something like that. So it comes off like you're being honest and you were trying to pace yourself. And then when they ask you to do a field sobriety test, you should go, yes, of course. And get out and just comply with that.
Yeah. Jeffy has told me many, many times he carries a card with him in his wallet that has a list of directions of things that you should say to officers, which I thought was very revealing about him and his character generally.
Sure.
But there is a situation where you do have a right to talk to your attorney, maybe not in that moment. But if you are over the line, let's say you've made a terrible mistake. You went to the golf course, thought you could make it quickly to the airport. Terrible decision. You knew you made a terrible decision. You're now trying to minimize the damage legally. Should you even agree to the field test, Dave? I mean, should you just say, like, I don't want to participate in that? Or is there some other direction to go if you think you're going to fail it?
Well, you're probably going to do the field sobriety test, then they're going to give you a breathalyzer. And what sucks about that is you go, well, what was the first thing for? Just to embarrass me?
Right.
So once you fail that and they give you the breathalyzer, unless you really just are flying colors, you pass that test. If you refuse the breathalyzer, regardless of what the results are, that is an automatic suspension of your driver's license. So you're better off because it's a refusal of a breathalyzer.
So basically give it a whirl and see what happens.
You might as well, because you might have a chance in court to get out of it. But the second you refuse the breathalyzer, you're going to have your license suspended.
Got it.
Regardless, because that's a rule with most DMVs and Secretary of States. Depends on the state, but I'm willing to bet that's there. And I say this from knowing what happened.
You're incredibly well versed in this topic, Dave. No,
thank you.
No, it's amazing. You've really done the legwork.
I got a technical refusal of a breathalyzer because theirs was broken and I lost my license.
Oh, really? How is that?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. They can't get their freaking equipment operating. That's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, well, it's Detroit, and listen, if they see that record that you have, they know you're guilty.
Now, they were on a bridge, as you saw or heard in that video, in the wind tunnel on the bridge. The ground was sort of a little tilted, so they basically put cuffs on him before he was guilty of anything and brought him to the police station so that he could do the test in an area that's a little bit more controlled. So you can hear the audio a little bit better here. They start talking about whether getting him ready for the field sobriety test, and he actually does something pretty interesting here. Dave, watch. Gets out of his car, walks to the front, hands on the hood.
2 back surgeries, I need a set.
He's now stretching his legs out.
Or like petted on check.
Yeah, she did.
Okay.
She did. She's been perfect.
Legitimately doing stretches.
Yes.
He is.
Any head injuries?
Excuse me?
Any head injuries recently? Any concussions?
Well, Over the years, yes, but not recently. No, we're good.
Okay.
It's a fascinating clip, Dave.
Well, see, asking an NFL player if they sustained any head injuries is a lot like asking a porn star if they're a virgin. You pretty much know the answer immediately.
I didn't get the sense they necessarily knew who he was at the beginning. I'm sure by the time they got to the police station, they were aware of who he was. I will say, in Romo's defense a little bit here, he's not fighting with them. He's not being a jerk to them. He's I mean, I've seen a lot of these things where like, what are you talking about? I have rights. Like, he's not doing any of that stuff. He's being, I think, I don't know. I feel like he's complying with all of their requests and doing, I mean, he does seem a little sluggish. His answers are a little slow to come. He doesn't look necessarily wonderful in these clips, but he's not, he's not, fighting with the officers in any way.
No, and you're not. I'll tell you, this Zoom thing, he's not in the best mood. I'll tell you that much. But when he answers it, I think she kind of took it as a little bit of an insult when he paused, as if like, you should know who I am. You have head injuries. Now, that may not be what he meant, but it was going for the phone. In some situations, if you do reach for a phone and you're going to call your lawyer, you can get shot if that's a tense situation.
Yeah.
Just grabbing something like that. So right there is really where I'd say that was the third mistake that led to, everything that happened. But it was definitely the reaching for the phone, wanting to call the lawyer. I think he may have gotten off had he not done that.
Here's
I say that as an expert.
Yes, you do. Real authority on this. Here is him trying to follow a pen. Watch.
Okay, so I'm following this as you move it. That's what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay, got it.
You don't want the head to move. And it does.
Oh, yeah, you do see the movement of the head.
Am I supposed to move my head or am I supposed to keep it square?
Would you like the instructions one more time, sir?
I think I got you.
Okay.
I'm trying to do it right. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
He's also asked to...
You want to follow it with your eyes and not go like that. That's the deal.
That's
and
the thing
he does
they're
exactly correct.
Here he is trying to walk a line. Let's see how that goes.
When you turn, keep the front lead foot on the line.
Sorry, one second.
And turn by taking a series of small steps with the other foot.
Yep.
I'm going to demonstrate with
Yes,
3.
thank you. Appreciate
You will do 9, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Stretching isn't helping.
Sitting in there. Sorry, guys. Do that.
No.
1,
Those are...
2, 3.
Just put them in front of me. Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, my bad. You go ahead. Keep
Okay.
going.
You're going to use a series of small steps.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Yep. So 3 one way and then 3 the other way.
Another demonstration.
Nope, I think I got that.
Okay, he's going to do the
So
steps
3
here.
steps and then turn around.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Around. Am I staying here or am I turning around? Correct?
9 heel to toe steps.
Yeah, he did 8 steps, Dave. You're supposed to do 3. And again, he's not stumbling and falling all over the place, but you should probably know the difference between the 3 and the 8, although they do look similar on a piece of paper.
They do. The fact that he did go too many steps, though, I don't see as a bad thing other than with listening skills. It just shows that he was coordinated. Plus, he did a nice Heisman Trophy looking stretch before he did it. He was prepared, but going into that looking like you're preparing for the Super Bowl does not look good. Like leaning on the car, stretching 800 times, taking your sandals off. It's all quite a bit. So maybe instead of putting on that show, he should have just casually walked the 3 steps. But again, he did not. So it looks like he's not paying attention, can't remember anything, has the memory of a goldfish. But his coordination, not that bad.
Yeah. Well, look, we watched all the videos pretty much. I
would say same level of danger of driving as an Asian woman at that point. Nothing much.
Not too high.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think it's. I always feel like a man of any persuasion with a .12 blood alcohol level is as dangerous on the road as any Asian woman. I've always said that.
Yes, you've been very consistent on that throughout your time as an expert in this particular topic. Dave, let me just hit this real quick. As a layman, I'm walking into this, and I've never been pulled over for DUI, thankfully. I will quickly give my opinion, and then you tell me where I'm wrong and from the expert position. But I gotta say, it's a bad mistake. You shouldn't go to a golf tournament, get lit, and then get in the car. I don't know what his blood alcohol level is. I don't think that's been released yet. That being said, he was I think, fine to the officers. I don't think he did anything necessarily horrible there. I think he should pay his price, whatever that fine is, whatever the law says. I mean, it was talked about in the article as a $267 fine. The fact that the fine is $267 for at least part of this kind of shows where we put it in the legal ranking. He didn't wind up hurting anybody. Thankfully, he could have. He didn't. And I just think that getting this guy, and I by the way, despise the Dallas Cowboys more than anything in the world. If he was a current player, I'd say throw him into prison till the end of his life. But that all being said, I think this is a little over the top. I'm glad nobody was hurt. He should get his wrist slapped with all, the force of a first-time offender, and that should happen. But the idea that he's going to be thrown off of the broadcast and have his career destroyed and all this over this, I think is excessive. And I don't know. I mean, if your kid was, hit by a drunk driver at some point, I understand that you're not going to feel that way, but it does feel like they're trying to turn this into something and escalate it to this level where it's a bit over the top, and I think, maybe there's a little motivation from CBS to just say, we don't really want to pay him $18 million a year anymore.
Well, that's the main reason with CBS. I mean, the reality is look, I understand that people have lost people to drunk driving, myself included. So if we're being serious about it, yes, it is a serious thing. But if everybody can't look at that and take it personal to every situation, and most people that have lost somebody to drinking and driving have drank and drove themselves. So you have to allow the same grace to somebody else. If this is his first offense, he's not doing anything that bad. He should obviously pay the fine, which if that's all it is, I mean, he's lucky he's loaded. But if there is a suspended license, if there is whatever, because I mean, there's people that I know who've gone to jail for a year for their first DUI, depending on the harshness of the judge. So as long as he pays whatever that sentence is, that's what it should be. To lose your contract over it is because they think that they paid him way too much money and they need it as an excuse to get rid of it. And somebody paid somebody to get this footage leaked. It's ridiculous that it's even out there. And I think it's sad that our lowest moments are always put out there for the world to judge now before you even get a hearing in court. Like, this footage shouldn't be available to the public yet. I mean, I'm glad it is. It gives us a chance to talk about it on the show, but it really shouldn't be for moral and ethical reasons until it's actually, it comes to a close.
Well, I know. Thank you, Dave, for your expertise on this topic. I know we've got to take a break here, but look, it's an unfortunate situation. Hopefully it works out. He should be treated not like a celebrity, not somebody who above the law, but should just be treated normally, and that's where we need to leave it. We're going to take a break. Come back on the other side with WNBA controversy. Back in a second. One of the biggest scams we all fall for is the phrase, I'll get used to it. The office chair, it's not very comfortable. I'll get used to it. The car makes that weird noise over and over again. I'll get used to it. The mattress leaves you stiff every morning and wakes you up because you're too hot and has you flipping your pillow over and over again all night long. I'll get used to it. You don't need to be used to it. It doesn't have to be that way. That's why you love GhostBed. If you have a GhostBed, you love it already. I do that. But every GhostBed mattress has cooling technology built right into it, so you're not paying extra just to stay comfortable. If you naturally sleep hot, especially in the summer, it is a huge difference. And the support of a GhostBed is excellent. You wake up feeling rested. GhostBed gives you 101 nights, so you can try it at home. You can sleep on it all summer long and feel the difference for yourself. How many more summers are you going to waste on a bad night's sleep? GhostBed is currently offering the audience extra 10% off. With financing, we're talking about like $1 a day for many of these ghost beds. So check this out, ghostbed.com/Stu and Dave. Use the promo code Stu and Dave. It's ghostbed.com/Stu and Dave. The promo code is Stu and Dave. The WNBA is in the news, so you know this isn't going to be about basketball at all. Because they never talk about basketball in the WNBA. It's just constantly controversies, which players are hooking up with other players, who's racist, who's a sexist, who hates trans people. That's all it is in the WNBA. Let me introduce this, Dave, by giving you this story. This just set the table here because this came out a week or two ago. But Angel Reese was she's on Atlanta, I guess, and is playing against the Toronto Tempo, which is quite possibly the worst name for a franchise I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah. Whenever I think Tempo, I think of the beautiful Ford Tempo.
Yes. I had multiple
car.
Ford Tempos back in the day. I remember pulling one out across the street and it just died in the middle of the road. And I just sat there silently and said, it's over. Because it was like we had hit the wall.
At least everybody had a nice view of the color teal.
Yeah. It's not
I think it only came in teal and brown.
Yeah,
right?
I did have a burgundy one at one point, which was the upgraded. I had like the upgraded Tempo, which also didn't run very often. But
yeah, you had the sports edition.
I
Good
did.
for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the kind of life I've lived, Dave. You know, I mean, let's be honest about it. Higher echelon individual. But the Tempo did get us around. But it's the Toronto Tempo. They have a coach, Sandy Brondello. Now, the situation here is where Angel Reese gets a foul call. She gets the benefits of a foul call. And the coach is caught on camera saying, oh gosh, Angel Reese is a protected species. Now this gets a response from Angel Reese who says, are we surprised, with the clown emoji, basically saying, oh, she's a clown. And also, obviously, she's a racist. She's saying I'm black and therefore I'm another species. Left out of the conversation is this coach is Australian. In Australia, in sports, they often refer to a person who is getting the benefit of a lot of foul calls as a protected species. It's got nothing to do with race whatsoever, zero. But it was still a big controversy, and she had to come out and apologize, and we had to play that whole game. That's what this league is. It's just a collection of these stories, Dave.
Well, you can't coach a WNBA team and be racist. It would be the wrong field to go into. It would be like Louis Farrakhan coaching the Pittsburgh Penguins. It makes absolutely zero sense. So right there, you wouldn't do it. You wouldn't go, let's go to where most of the black people are.
Right.
That doesn't make sense at all. So it's clearly just something, yes, they are talking about her specifically as a player.
We do get this occasionally, even in the NFL, which again, it's insane. We have a country with 11 or 12% African Americans. The league is 75% African American. There's not a lot of evidence that there's an anti-black sentiment in this league when they give 7 times the representation of a population the best jobs. Like that's a weird thing. You're at least bad at racism if you're doing it that way. There's also the incidents with when it comes to the trans situation. Sophie Cunningham has been in the news. I was on with Megan Kelly. We talked a very long time about this particular story. She was awesome. Very fired up about this story, Dave.
I bet, yeah.
It's worth going back and listening to before I even come on, the first 20 minutes of her just going off on the story. But Sophie Cunningham comes out and says, hey, I'm not against trans people at all, but we need to protect women's locker rooms. We need to, girls need to be able to have their spaces to compete against other girls, because that's really important. And if we put guys in there, there's a case of, she didn't even go this far, but there's a case of injury, there's a case of competition being hurt because of that. She's now anti-trans. Every player is being asked about how anti-trans they are. You have to say that you're being inclusive or whatever the key words are to get yourself out of jail. It's just nonsense, and it just shows that the whole league is a joke.
Yeah, I've cut out again. There we go.
Mm-hmm. You're back.
Yes, the league it does show that the league is first of all, we don't know for sure that no one in the WNBA has a penis. I think we've said this before.
I don't know.
They may They may have snuck a few in there. So I think just playing in the league itself should let people know that you are not anti-trans. You're just trying to figure out which one on the court's Adam's apple may be quite large. And if you've just been elbowed in the face by a guy, I think that's reasonable. I think saying that you want to play, professional sport, I think the problem is now if you say anything that's not lockstep with something, everyone on the other side turns on you, so no one knows what the hell to say anymore. So you go with logic, and logic is the worst thing you can possibly say to any left-wing publication.
It's so true. It's so true. I mean, really, when you come up with the coherent opinion of 95% of the public, you are the enemy now. And I don't know how that happens. I mean, she's going to these arenas. She's even getting booed. She's just seen as like this MAGA figure, which, again, there's no evidence that she is. And even if she was, it's half the country voted that way in previous elections. That being said, that's where we are. By the way, I want to make one more quick point on this before we go to break, Dave. I was at a restaurant the other day.
Yes.
And I was eating dinner with my lovely wife. And on the televisions at the bar, we were at the bar, and the television's behind there was a WNBA game on there. Which was Atlanta versus Dallas. And I swear this is true. I want to ask the producers to find that this is true. I think it was that game. And the person takes a shot, and I remember thinking, oh my gosh, like, who is this person? She took like a long three, and it was like a Steph Curry like level, like long three, and nailed it. I was like, wow. She was like, it looked like I'd say a big man, although I think it was a woman. But she hit the shot, and I was like, oh gosh, I was going to send this to my friend who watches some of these games, and Caitlin Clark, and like watches all the highlights. And I swear to you, she pops up, and I swear this is true. We have to get evidence of it. I swear her name was Dewana Boner. I swear her name is Dewana Boner. Now, I swear this is real. If I imagined it, it was a really weird dream, and I don't want to admit that I imagined it, but I swear there's a player in the WNBA, Dewanna, Boner.
I'd have to look it up. I know there's probably a drag queen reading in a library right now whose name is Dewana Boner, but it wasn't on their birth certificate originally.
Probably true. We got to take a break. Maybe we'll have a screenshot for you when we get back of Dewana Boner. Back in a second. Now, I'm sure the lineage of the name Dewana is very interesting, but it does also just sound like, do you wanna?
Correct.
And if your last name is Bonner, which very much looks like Boner, you don't want to name your child Dewana because it sounds like Dewana Boner. But this is real. Yes. We've done the research, Dave. This is a real player in the WNBA. Here's the evidence of it. There she is. She seems lovely, but her name is Dewana Boner, and I just don't think that that's appropriate.
Yeah, I don't. You might as well just name her Mega A. There's sort of there's just sort of one of those things it feels like a prank call. Yeah, like it's from some bad Jerky Boys script from like 1992. Right, you're making a reservation. Like, it's the Boner family. There's Dewana. There's
I gotta.
There's bend over. There's just sort of there's.
I mean, again, this is so infantile, I realize, but like, you have to understand what a moment that was at a restaurant when I looked up at a screen and I just saw at the bottom of it, Dewana Boner.
Well, if your last name is McCulkiner, you don't name him Barry. There's just certain rules you have about names that have those as the last name.
I mean, again, it's not like you just picked some super common name. It's like almost had to be intentional here, right? How many people in America are named Dewana? There's some, I'm sure, but like, it's not the most common name. You'd think that you put the names together. Again, sometimes you just need to step back and look at it on paper for a minute. And I just don't feel like the parents did a good job with that.
It's very close to Joanna, which is a movie about a man playing in the WNBA, Joanna Man.
Joanna Man.
So, but if your name was Joanna Boner, it's all the same.
Right.
It sounds just as bad.
Her real
It sounds
world.
like you're just asking it faster.
Yes. Her real world situation is funnier than the comedy movie you just mentioned. Like, it's actually a
by
funnier
far.
name than the one they made for comedy. That's not that's very, very difficult situation you put this wonderful woman and little girl in at one point.
Yes. Yes. If it goes from Joanna Man to, yes, if your last name's Dump, you don't name him Anita. It's just this sort of, it's this thing that we all know that sometimes names don't work out unless you're doing it on purpose because you maybe this is the way of not keeping your kid, but also keeping your kid, where you're like, look, we're going to have the baby, but we're going to make life really hard for her and name her this.
This seems like you have distaste for the child almost at that point, which is, again, very, very sad.
You'd have to.
Although,
You'd have to.
it is, yeah.
You sit around when you name your kid and you think about it, though.
All the
Every
time.
parent has, because you want to know if they'll be made fun of for it. So you know that they should have had the conversation of like, do you want a Bonner? Is probably going to come up, no pun intended, at some point.
It's pathetic. I mean, I feel pathetic for pointing it out, but I felt like it was necessary. All right, got to take a break. Back in a second. I mean, come on. That is not our fault. You can't blame us for that. That's just egregious on their part. That's not my fault. Okay. One of the strange side effects of the internet is that we become experts at knowing exactly what happened today, or at least what we think has happened today, but amateurs at understanding the real perspective. Why does it matter? That's why, why? This is such a stupid show. Okay, that's why Frontier stands out. This is why they're not doing stupid crap like we are here. They're doing important things. Instead of chasing whatever story happens to be trending for a few hours, Frontier takes the long view, takes a look at people, ideas, and moments that shaped America. It's a great magazine. You're going to love it. Let me show you how to get it. Just go to blazeunlimited.com. Is it blazeunlimited.com/Stu? Go there. Get the subscription to. There's a lot of other great benefits along with Frontier as well. So there's tons of great stuff. You'll like the subscription. It's blazeunlimited.com. First 50 subscribers who use this code Frontier40 get a $40 off. Receive a special bonus as well. You get digital access to Frontier issues 1 through 5, which is great, including an article from Dave Landau you're going to love. blazeunlimited.com/Stu. Promo code Frontier40. Love to get your comments at blazetv.com/Stu and Dave. By the way, use the code Stu and Dave and save yourself $20. And of course, join us on YouTube, podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. This one from YouTube. We talked about Meryl Streep, and I had a real moment of confession as I said Meryl Streep sucks on the program. Trump, I guess I kind of do remember saying that he didn't like her either. This one, Small Zabe says, I remember when Trump said Meryl Streep was mediocre, and I agreed. The entire SAG acted like he insulted the Pope. This is basically how that went down.
I see he used SAG there. He must have misspelled something.
Yeah. This one from Wink Linkletter says, this is true, I think. I think we all just witnessed a true bonding moment between Stu and Dave over their mutual hatred of Meryl Streep. I felt seen, Dave, for maybe the first time in my life.
Yes, I honestly agreed, and I've seen people throw up examples of movies they liked her in, but it still falls under what we said of, right, but you might like the movie, but it doesn't mean that there wouldn't have been somebody better for the part.
Exactly. Okay, join us at predictableshow.com. We got some great stuff for you, previewing the elections and stuff like that, and DaveLandau.com. Lots of great dates around the country. Get your tickets. We'll see you tomorrow.